there. We're not just, well, our main thing is a group that got together to grow in kind of one location, to share expenses and that kind of do it that way. It's better with the security and those things too. And then the medication has been dispensed kind of amongst the people that are involved. And we have a membership to join, and so it's not like some of the other dispensaries where, as long as you have your doctor's recommendation, you can go and get medication from them. We kind of it's a little bit of almost kind of a little bit of a private club. So.
Yeah, I've had a plan up for something called Liberty Villages, and I foresee that these farms that are able to grow hemp, becoming like a Liberty Village, have some people living there and working the land. Not only just growing pot, but I mean we need regular food too, don't we?
Yes, we do. So actually, we've got a nursery that's not too far away from the building, about a mile, and we do regular ornamental plants, and we also do some outdoor medical marijuana too. So yeah, there's room for both, in the operation.
Are the growers and the dispensaries and their customers, I mean, are they uniting in any kind of political movement to get to maybe even, I mean, I just don't believe we are to have laws against victimless crimes. If you can walk up and say, "What you got in your pocket there, son?" You're in a police state.
Yes. No, actually, quite a few of the clubs and dispensaries have gotten together. Most of them, go to the County Board of Supervisors meetings and that kind of stuff. And there has been a fair amount of people that turned out.
Is there any resistance to the use of marijuana in the cities in California now?
It's kind of really loosened up over the last couple of years. It used to be they were pretty stringent about it. Now they pretty much leave you alone as long as you don't flaunt it or put it in their face. It seems to be the stigma or whatever you want to call it is getting less and less every year.
Well, tell me what are the legalities? Now, we just got the medical marijuana in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen any dispensaries. I haven't talked to the gentleman that was behind that for a while. And what kind of hoops are they going to have to jump through in Arizona to accomplish what's being done in California now?
That I wouldn't know too much about. I don't know what the rules are in Arizona. In California, you do need a doctor's prescription, basically, and with the prescription, in some cases you can get a exemption if the doctor deems that the baseline amount of plants and medicine aren't enough. He can extend that. Like I personally have, 90, and then it's 5 pounds of dry medicine, and that varies depending on the doctor. what you're in there for, your symptoms and stuff. So that's the first thing you need to have. Then there's a voluntary system called an MIP, and that is a state-issued ID that lets law enforcement in the state of California know that you are a medical cannabis patient or caregiver. They have a card for each. They have one.
Can you get that? Can you get that without going to a doctor?
No, you have to have the prescription. Prescription is mandatory. The state card is you can do it if you want to, but with our organization, we kind of opted to make sure that every member had it. Give them, when they sign up, give them 90 days to get that taken care of and acquire the state card.
I mean, one of the reasons I support the use of marijuana is because I think it far exceeds the abilities of medicines, of prescription medications, and with 2,000% markup. And I just kind of hate the thought of having to give a doctor and the pharmaceutical companies money for a prescription for something I can grow in my backyard.
Yeah, that is kind of I kind of don't agree with it, but such is the case as it is in California. But without those, you can get it's as long as it's less than an ounce. They passed that last year. Less than an ounce on your person is you don't even get a misdemeanor for it. Just a slap on the hand, and no big deal.
Do they take your pot?
No, actually, they're not supposed to. If it's less than an ounce, it's supposed to be no offense at all. Amounts over that, then it's up to the
God, now if you guys would just get rid of the helmet law, man, I might come back. How numerous are the dispensaries? Do you have contact with all of them?
With most of them, I've dealt with them over the years. Currently in Fresno County, there's about 15 of them. Which is there could probably be a few more. Fresno's a fairly large city, but it's a pretty good number.
What are the are there regulations on where the growers can be located? Do they have to be located so far from the city? Do you have to have some kind of security? And they're saying on the chat room that Obama says that the growers are free game. But
well, yeah, in the city of Fresno, they're not allowed. They were what was it, about 2 years ago? Had quite a few of them in the city of Fresno and the county. City of Fresno put a moratorium out and did the same thing, used zoning laws, and cleaned them all out of the city of Fresno. So they all relocated to the county, and the county pretty much let it go for quite a while until they got to the point where they thought there was too many of them, and they put a moratorium. And then right now, and it should be out probably within the next couple weeks or so, they're going to have a set of regulations that they want to as to how they're regulated and what is required and what they need to do and what zoning they need to be in order to operate.
This What size prop? I didn't quite catch it. I'm sorry. I got distracted here. What is the? Is there limitations on the property, or how far it can be from city? Again, repeat that for me.
Oh, it has to be out of the city. There's some restrictions on how far they can be or how close they can be to schools or churches, and they want it in kind of commercial zones. They don't want it in residential. One of the ones that was closed down in the last raids here was kind of it was a commercial property that they had, but right across the street was residential, and they were fairly busy, and so it caused some problems in the neighborhood with the amount of vehicles and people and that kind of thing in the neighborhood. But they're, for the most part, trying to keep it in the commercial industrial areas of Fresno County.
Have you been to my website, Free American?
No, I haven't. I was actually kind of headed that way.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like for you to take a look at Liberty Villages. Now, I planned Liberty Villages a number of years ago, and that may have been one of the reasons that they tried to kill me back in 2004. But, I propose a place where people work together with low-cost housing, teepees, yurts, earth homes, adobe, whatever. And I foresaw hemp being grown there, or cannabis. I mean, same thing, same, pretty much the same thing. And if that happened in California, if somebody's got some acreage and wanted to start growing, could we take some property, set it up there, and put people there to work the property and do a commercial operation based around, renting out structures? I think people would like to spend a night in a teepee. And a restaurant serving organic food and hemp being grown there. Is that feasible in California? And would the people that are already growing, or would they be interested in participating in something like that? Would it be kind of a commercial organization?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there would be. It's possible in most of the state, actually. Fresno, I think right now, is the only county that you can't grow outdoors. It has to be grown inside. But I think all the other counties are free to grow outdoors. And that was due to a shooting that happened, probably going on about a year now, where they had a guy go in and steal the medical cannabis out of his backyard, and he ended up shooting the perpetrators as they were leaving. So they kind of banned the whole thing in Fresno County.
This what do you foresee in the near future here? I mean, to me, if we were allowed to regrow hemp commercially, and I think you've probably got the best shot at it in California with the medical marijuana, because there is no real THC in the hemp plant itself. But it would certainly stimulate the economy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think they'd be interested in looking into it, because the economy in California isn't doing all that well. So anything that you can do to help things out, is a plus.
One of the problems I think we have as America, I've been in the Patriot movement for 20 years. Been in the hemp movement for a lot longer than that. About 40. And people don't want to work together. They don't want to work together. They don't want to. They don't want to plant their own vegetables. They don't want to. You know. They don't want to. They don't want to be self-sufficient. Yeah. Do you find are people willing to get more involved? And do you think the whole cannabis movement, the medical marijuana movement, you know, the pro-hemp movement, has a future here that's looking brighter? Or are we going to continue moving into a police state, in your opinion?
I think the future for medical cannabis looks pretty good. I think in the next, I would say probably within the next 5 years, it'll probably be legal, and probably in most of the states, probably too. I've noticed the same thing. You're talking about regular vegetables and that kind of stuff. Yeah, you have some people that may want to do that, but yeah, the cooperation level isn't quite there. But with the medical marijuana, there's a lot of interest in it, and we'll be probably teaching classes and that kind of stuff at our site. For some reason, people seem to want to get involved with that and pursue that.
Sorry, had to warm the coffee up. I've had a number of guests come on my show talking about the benefits of marijuana medically for people. You know, I've got ads on my website for Hemp USA that has no THC, but he maintains that it's the healthiest food out there for you. And
yes, I've heard the same thing. I know the seeds are very high in protein, and I've actually used some of the lotions before. You know, there's no THC content to speak of in it, but it works great on your hands.
Yeah. I've also got reports. I just had Ray Simpson on my show a few weeks ago talking about curing people with cancer with cannabis. I mean, is that one of the reasons they still got it illegal? So because it is so good for us?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those items that they can't quite figure out what to do with it. And you've got some of the big players like the pharmaceutical companies that, you know, they don't know quite how to control it. So kind of sits in limbo then.
Where do you see the where do you see the 420 Club going? What directions are you going in? What plans have you got? Are you going to be working to try to promote this next round of legislation to decriminalize or legalize the use of cannabis and growing the hemp? Is that activity we are to be concentrating on and working together on and trying to spread across the whole United States? Because it really would. Did you ever meet my friend Jack Hara while he was still alive?
No, I didn't.
You know, he was a real proponent boy. He said if you were stranded on a desert island, you could only take one thing with you. You should take a hemp seed because you could get your food, your clothing, your fuel, and everything else.
Yeah. No, we're pushing to have it legalized. So that's what I would like to see happen in the next couple of of years.
They've always divided. They've used it to. Now I've been smoking pot for 40 years. You know, and I'm not a criminal. You know, I don't need to be arrested. I don't need to be put in jail. I don't harm no one else. I don't go anywhere else. I don't hurt no one else. I don't drive drunk or stoned. You know, it's so I want to see things change. I want to see things change. I mean, I was in Texas when it was a life sentence to have a joint in your pocket.
Yeah.
And we have made progress in that over the last 40 years. We have made a lot of progress. I think it can take another step.
Oh, I definitely think so too. My personal feelings on it, I don't think it's any worse than the hard alcohol or beer or, you know, any of those two. And, you know, it does do quite a bit of good in the arena of taking care of symptoms and stuff for many diseases, and I think it needs to go that route. It needs to become legal.
I wrote books about that 40 years ago. I'm in the process of updating them and rewriting them now. But divide and conquer has always been, you know, one of the oldest maxims in warfare. And, you know, we used to get high in the 60s and go watch a Reefer Madness played at the midnight show and laugh our asses off at it. We thought it was really kind of hilarious. But that kind of propaganda, they used that kind of propaganda to steal our number one cash crop. That's the way I read it. Is there another way to look at this?
Yeah, I think so. I think even if they had controls on it, California is just billions of dollars in debt. The last time I heard it, just in California, it's $26 billion a year is what they think the marijuana. That's how much it produces. So if they could figure out a way of getting their little part of it or whatever, that would go a long ways to help out the society and the community and the state itself.
It's now someone asked me once, well, isn't marijuana a gateway drug?
No, I don't think so.
Well,
it's like
I had to tell them, if you got to go to a drug dealer to get it, then it's probably a gateway drug. Or it's probably a gateway, because I don't consider it a drug at all. But
yeah, I would agree with you on that.
The problem, and again, I've been in this for a long time. I said I stopped doing cocaine when I found the CIA was making all the money off of it. and we have that happening right now. The CIA ran Operation Watchtower. That's in my book, Mystery Babylon. They ran Operation Watchtower, running the cocaine into Clinton's Mena, Arkansas. And we've got our troops guarding heroin fields, poppy fields over in Afghanistan. I don't even understand. Why would there? Why is there a war on marijuana? Oh, it's because the CIA's not bringing it in. Or are they? I mean, come on. This whole drug cartel. If the marijuana was legalized, we wouldn't have drug cartels down in Mexico making money off of bringing what we can grow in our backyard up here.
Exactly. There wouldn't be any money in it for them, so they wouldn't be here.
Now, marijuana, heroin, and morphine, opium, Dilaudid, what do you want to call it? This was available in the drugstore in America for years. Hemp was our number one cash crop. My God, the drug laws are simply to benefit the drug dealers, and the drug dealers are the CIA and the Mossad, the Secret Services. At least from my research. Your opinions?
I'd probably have to agree. They're involved if there's money to be made, so in some form. That's kind of how I look at it.
All right. Let me see. Let me check my times schedules here. Okay. We're halfway into the show.